Hey guys, welcome back. bdckr here. We're back with our Q&A Season 3, Episode 6. Jumping straight into the questions, the first one comes from Lisa Peacock, a longtime watcher. And they say, "Hey guys, I have a question. With all the gameplay that you do, how do you find time for other things, and what do you do if you have downtime? Once again, great team." And this was on the team video.
Superman.
Yeah, well, I can speak for myself. I mean, full-time job. I actually like to read a lot. So, maybe not so surprisingly, is that I stop playing when I feel frustrated with the game.
Yeah.
And that probably is better than anything else, because the more I think I play, like Injustice 2, for example, the more I played when I wasn't enjoying it, the more it became a chore. And that's partly, I mean, that saves a bit of time too, right? Because I was saying that I was reading I just finished the Mira Grant Parasitology trilogy, and it's a different kind of zombie take. Really good. I highly recommend it.
And personally, I do a lot of other video games, and I do a lot of podcast listening. But it's like a lot of video games, podcasts, and reading too. And I think one of the reasons why we do have time for other stuff is that we have not no pre-production, but we have a lot less pre-production than I think most content on YouTube does.
That's true, actually. Part of it is inherent in what we do, right? Like, we do a lot of gameplay, but I think with our new workflow where recording on device,
yeah,
it makes a huge difference. So that there's like even that little snuck time when in the washroom, sitting on the toilet, is like found time that can be filming.
So the gameplay can be recorded literally anytime, anywhere. That there's enough time to essentially record a whole video, or even a chunk of a video, like even part of an online fight if necessary.
Right.
And then we just need to find time to sit down with our mic and computer essentially, and we just need enough pre-production to have like a team or a video idea, or sometimes for Q&As, right? Like stuff to say.
Yeah, so I guess the proper answer has to start with the fact that maybe it seems like we play a lot more than we actually do, although we do play a lot.
Yeah, like I don't think like a 10 or 15 minute video takes us more than an hour total.
I guess that's true.
And I think that might be each of us, right? So that might be a little more when you add that up. But when you think about the actual like amount per person, and it might be a little more than that, but I can't imagine that it's much more than that.
Oh, this is a weird team. Both Dark Sides. I was going to say both Apocalypse, but that's Marvel.
So so the amount of content that we actually produce is a lot closer to the amount of time that it takes to produce that content than it is for almost probably like 95% or more of people on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that's
Good
why
point.
we actually still can have a lot of free time with that still. Like I watched like 2 hours of the Mabim Bam TV show today. Just because I can.
And it's good.
It's good, yeah. Anyways, so there we go.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sticking around with us for so long.
Our next question comes from John Tyler, and they say, "Why are you using a team that was good back in 2014?" And that's in reference to this team, the team that you're watching right now.
Yeah, this is the bdckr special.
Or I guess you're watching a loading screen right now, the team that you just watched.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's...
The short answer is it's good in 2017.
Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah.
It's still a great team, and, with the talk, our well-received video about how to handle the hackers, for all the people that are frustrated about facing hackers, when you play this team...
You don't get them.
You're going right under the radar. Yeah. It's, really, the hackers very rarely are going to hack a team that's going to be mediocre, because they can't draw the same way. And that's part of their point, I think. I think they want the attention. They want to draw a lot of fights so that people see the team. Because, if they're doing a bunch of stuff and nobody knows it, then they're not getting, I guess, the validation and satisfaction of it.
And I think we like each element of the team for a different reason. They all, except Green Lantern, pretty much have interesting passives, right? So
Green Lantern's got the great passive for the rest of the team, though.
Yeah, a good passive, but not necessarily an interesting one, right?
That's
like
true.
Containment Suit Doomsday has an interesting passive. Elseworld Flash has an interesting passive, right? And they're both kind of fun to take advantage of that. You really specifically like the Flash.
Yeah. Well, because I've always liked Flash characters.
Yeah, and Green Lantern is cool because he's kind of... Not exactly, but he's almost our proof of concept for Elite 10ing a silver and making them, like, gold tier, right? So each character has something interesting in them individually, you're really used to them, so it's a really easy kind of grind, right?
Yep.
And so it's easy, it's a little fun, it's a little interesting, and it was put together thoughtfully, and it's remained kind of the sentiment behind it has remained the same,
Right.
so it's still the same kind of
This is sort
useful.
of V2 actually, because originally this team was Black Adam instead of Containment Doomsday.
Yeah. So there we go.
And he could still be there.
So that's why we're still using the team, because we still like the team and because it's still a good team.
And you gotta understand too, these Q&As were never meant to be an MP demonstration. I mean, we've got a whole playlist of just different multiplayer online teams, and this, because we've used it so much, it doesn't take the explanation, so it doesn't take away from what we're talking about, but we also give you something a little visual, because it is YouTube.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of expect that what I would have expected people to watch this is kind of the way that I listen to podcasts, doing something else and using this as background audio but not necessarily visual.
Right, so this is background visual.
Yeah.
For our audio.
So this is not meant to be like interesting enough to hold your attention. It's supposed to be our talking if you care about that, and the visual is meant to be pretty much opt in or opt out.
Although I'll tell you what, that previous fight with Killing Joke Joker was a perfect example of why Containment Doomsday is great on this team, as far as you don't have to worry about, you just trigger his passive, don't care.
Yeah.
All right.
So there you go. The next question comes from Raul Garcia, and they say, just a question about the top 3s online. Is those guys are hackers, and why they are not banned for instantly, or they are a glitch on the game? It is just harder to finish a 5-7 battle, and it is getting so frustrated because I would like to get in the top 3 to get the online reward.
Yeah, I'm guessing top 3%. Yeah, it is a little frustrating, I think.
But maybe top 3.
Oh, maybe, I guess.
If the top 3 are hackers, right? He's maybe saying it's hard to...
I guess that's true, too. I just can't imagine the
somebody
amount of...
that dedicated.
Right, because I know that I think Lisa Peacock got in the top 10 one season, right?
Yeah, I
She made a point of
remember.
it.
She was
was pretty
talking about
impressive.
it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I really doubt that this is something intentional. Listen, the people who are playing the team for sure, I'm absolutely certain it's not a glitch. And it's whether Warner Brothers / NetherRealm intends to leave them on like that, or whether because what I understand is that they dump them before the end of the season, so they don't get the rewards. But for them to keep on removing them, I guess they're saving themselves the work and doing it just once a week instead of repeatedly, because obviously the guy comes back every season.
Yeah.
So it's probably a little bit more work than they're willing to do to try to keep them out. Okay, so this Red Sun team is going to be a bit of a pain because we lose all our crit. So I predict this is going to be a long fight.
And I think at the end of the day, it's frustrating. The best way to deal with it is probably just to find your strategy to beat the guy and then move on and not give him any attention.
Yeah, and I guess that's a nice segue into our recent part 1, how to beat these hackers, like our strategy for winning against them if we're going to play a team other than this that's more of a high stat, top tier kind of team.
Yeah, because the problem is the hacker is really, I think, feeding off of the infamy of it.
Yeah.
And it's the negative attention, right? So if you don't give them that as much as possible, it won't necessarily work, because maybe they're just doing it for the fun of it, for being able to. Maybe it's not about the people that he's annoying. Maybe it's about specifically the Injustice developers.
Right.
But whatever his reasoning is, the best thing to do is just not let it get to you.
Right. And so we've done the Flashpoint team that the hacker was using with all Astro Harness. Next up will be the Arkham Knight Batgirl team with all Astro Harness, and then we're going to end with probably the most frustrating one, and the one that people are going to care about the most is the one with the unreleased Ares with a timer.
Yeah.
That can cost you the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there we go.
All right, so I'm going to end on this, actually. It's not really a question that somebody was asking for an answer, but something's been getting a lot of attention on the unofficial Injustice 2 boards. So I guess we weren't done talking about Injustice 2.
That's true. We lied.
Yeah.
Or we said we
changed
might,
our minds.
Yeah,
a lot of players up in arms that a reasonably popular YouTuber got a free 4-star copy of Arkham Knight Batman as a special unique reward in his message box. And the overall complaints seem to break down into 2 kind of broadish kind of categories.
Yeah.
One is people who feel that it's uncompetitive and unfair that someone gets an advantage like this. Because, face it, it's a rare drop in the hero chest.
Yeah.
And the hero chests, I mean, just the amount of resources you need to spend to eventually get them is huge. So the second broad category is that that particular YouTuber can be pretty offensive.
Is what people are saying.
Now, I'm gonna gloss over the offensive part a little bit because I can't speak to what he's actually doing, but I can speak to what people's impressions are of him, because I don't actually watch a lot of YouTube, and when I do, it's very rarely anything related to Injustice.
Yeah, so we definitely can't make any specific commentary on what he has or hasn't said. We don't know.
Right. Except maybe some of the stuff that we can quote from Reddit. Anyways, I'm having a lot of trouble getting worked up about the advantage part. So, there's lots of tasks or just hoops that you need to jump through in the game to earn in-game resources. And some of them have really clear rules, but a lot of randomness in them, like, for example, getting gems from operations. And some have really unclear rules that seem to have a bit of randomness, like getting the discount promotion offers that last for an hour, where you can spend gems instead of doing a whole bunch of grinding and getting hero shards.
For sure.
Yeah, so to me it seems like getting a free Arkham Knight Batman is like unlocking a particularly difficult hidden achievement. So if the achievement were post YouTube videos on that company's games for 4 to 5 years and create a following of 60,000 plus subscribers, and you'll get some cool prizes, okay, so there's the achievement, right?
Yeah, and I think that's actually fair, because I think the reason why it's frustrating is the system in Injustice 2 that makes it almost impossible to get what you want.
Right.
Not the fact that he actually got something cool.
Right.
And this isn't even, like, the first time this kind of thing happened, right? Maybe not for Injustice, but it's actually kind of known that, like, mobile games especially will actually keep track of their whales, the people who buy a ton of in-app purchases, and, like, literally tailor, like, experiences to them. They'll give them They'll give them special gifts to say thank you for supporting the game. Sometimes in even extreme cases, they'll like offer them like a free like plane trip up to the like developer studio, and they'll let them like hang out. And that's something that's like kind of completely one of a kind and almost completely unique, right?
I think that's cool.
Yeah, and I don't think that's unfair. I think really when people care a lot about your game, officially acknowledging them and saying thank you for caring so much about our game is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Almost no matter what form it takes.
Yeah. So now the second complaint, the second broad category, which actually should be the easy part, is for me the hard part. Because, being offensive is really subjective. So what one person finds offensive is what 60,000 other people find entertaining, right?
Yeah, or what a couple people find offensive in this case.
But maybe more. It seems like there's like a petition and a few hundred people have signed on. All right, but still, you know what? And yet, we actually probably have a pretty unique perspective on this. So I just took a look at our channel. The first video we posted was March 2014, so we've been doing this for 3.5 years. We've got 15,839 subscribers, which YouTube rounds up to 16,000.
Yeah.
And alright, so fair complaint is that we post glitch videos, but it sounds like this other guy was publicly hacking souls in Mortal Kombat X Mobile. So I'm saying all this, but what's the point? Well, not only do we not get special free stuff in Injustice 2, we've had our Injustice 2 account suspended, and that's not the kicker. I mean, I get that happens, right?
Yeah.
The kicker is we can't even get a reply from support 2 weeks after submitting a ticket. Mm-hmm. So we can't even get somebody to talk to us while somebody else gets a bunch of free stuff.
And the unfortunate part is that, like, Warner Brothers is big enough and NetherRealm is big enough that there's a very, very good chance that the support desk that we're dealing with is not the same people as whatever people gave them the free stuff.
Right.
So it's a little bit like hard to one-to-one compare the experience.
Sure, but from ours, if you look at it from their perspective, I'm sure they've got lots of reasons why stuff happens.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about, I think, our experience and how it differs so much. And I think that's a lot of people's perspectives, right? They're coming at it as, this is what we see.
Warner Brothers doesn't care about us. They won't even help us when we've been actually wronged directly by them.
Right, so here's the thing, right? Like, all right, so we have fewer subscribers. We've got a quarter of the subscribers. Do we need more of them? Or do we just need to develop a reputation for being racist homophobes? And all right, so let me be clear. I'm saying reputation because, like I said, I'm just going by threads in Reddit, and So I don't know exactly what, but based on the responses, this YouTuber's responses in those threads, it's probably a well-earned reputation when he fills up his racism bingo card with... All right, so I'm just going to quote one thing. Quote, "The racist comments are a joke and for entertainment. A lot of my friends are black, including some in my streams." So here's the thing. The sad thing is I wasn't even enjoying Injustice 2 anymore, but I submitted a ticket in principle because of the time and money spent on the game.
Yeah.
And I felt like it just would be really a total waste to completely give up on it, but I can't say that I'm sad about it.
Yeah, you were actually almost excited.
Oh, I am. I really enjoyed that Mirror Grant trilogy, and I'm enjoying playing Injustice 1 a lot more, and also Renegade Midnight Star, which is a great first-person shooter.
Yeah, so there we go. That's some controversy in the Injustice YouTube social space.
I want to say universe, but it's too small to be universe.
I wasn't expecting that to happen in our channel's lifespan. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Komoda.
That was a good one.